Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
A Grand Forks man is sentenced to 2 years in prison for sexually assaulting a young girl. Officials say 33-year-old Derek Mortrude was sentenced yesterday in Grand Forks County District Court. According to court documents, Mortrude pleaded guilty to a charge of solicitation of a minor. He was originally charged with gross sexual imposition of a victim under the age of 15, but the charge was reduced. Mortrude will have to serve 5 years of probation when he's released from prison. One woman is in the hospital after being trampled by a horse at the NDSU Equine Center. Fire crews say the call came in around 11:45 this morning of an injury at the Equine Center on 19th Avenue North. Authorities say the adult female was taken to a local hospital due to injuries received while moving horses. They say she's not a student or an employee. Her condition is unknown at this time. Stick with Valley News Live for more updates on this story. After a dog ended up at a woman's door with a gunshot wound, the Wadena Humane Society is reminding pet owners to bring animals to them before taking matters into your own hands. Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter Bailey Hurley talked with the shelter today who says this is a good learning lesson and a warning to you. Some of the pictures you're about to see might be graphic.
This is a special case where she's very lucky that she gets this opportunity to get a second chance at life.
After being shot by her owners who no longer wanted her, the Mastiff Boxer mix found her way to a Wadena County woman's front door. But not knowing what to do, experts at the local Humane Society were called in to hopefully rescue 3-year-old Elise.
She came in and she was in really, really good spirits.
Costner says while they never want to put animals down, they do have to consider what's best and consulted Elise's future with 2 local vets.
Both vets said that she was very stable at that time. She was very lucky that the shot basically was a superficial shot.
Costner says the shelter doesn't see many cases of shot but surviving dogs.
We see more of, if you don't take this dog, I'll just take it out back and shoot it. The bullet is cheaper.
Costner says because of this, the shelter started their Don't Shoot the Dog campaign a few years ago, raising money for their $25 surrender fee to help those getting rid of an animal who either don't want to or can't pay the fee.
We want to be a resource to everybody, so every dog has an option to find a new home.
She says she also hopes to be a place for people before they get to the point of taking matters into their own hands, offering a variety of services for pet owners with behavioral or medical problems.
We're not just the place where you take your unwanted animal. We want to be a community resource for everybody.
In Wadena, Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.
The shelter says Elise's wounds were superficial, with the bullet only grazing her shoulder and exiting through her ear. They say she will spend the night at a local vet and will soon start the healing process in a foster home until she's finally ready for adoption. Nice to see a little melting on the city streets. It tells us temps went up a little bit today. Let's find out if the quiet conditions will last through the evening. Here's Hutch with No Wait Weather.
Thanks so much, Andrea. And I got to tell you, what a beautiful start to the work week out here in a gorgeous setting sun as we look off to the west. Temperatures, they weren't hot today, but we went in the right direction as the 30s returned. That felt warm. Here's a look from space called the visible satellite imagery. And all of the white that you see on here that's not moving, that is the snowpack. What an impressive storm over the weekend, dumping a widespread area of a foot or more of snow, including here in the FM area with about that much snow. Now, we did melt a little, but not too much. You're 31 degrees now, Grand Forks 33. Minot is warm to 40 degrees, melting a little bit more out to the west, while we have 20s in Minnesota this hour. Temperatures will stay steady under partly cloudy skies this evening, and winds will be westerly at around 10 to 12 miles per hour. Grand Forks likewise. I do think we'll see a chance for some patchy fog. Andrea will talk about where and when that could set up in the overnight hours. That's really the only hitch in the giddy up as we go through the overnight hours. The 7-day, though, there's a couple speed bumps in there we want to warn you about before we get going too far. So
okay, fog is not so bad then.
That isn't bad.
Thanks, Hutch. Some parents are fearing for their children's safety in South Moorhead. A dad called our whistleblower hotline saying the roads in his neighborhood are a snowy disaster. He's scared for kids going to and from school, and he wants something to be done about it. Valley News Team's Callie Hubbard talked with the city about that neighborhood and others.
They've had plenty of time plenty of time to get out here and clean this up, and I haven't seen a plow truck all morning.
Ryan Ness and his family live in South Moorhead, near Reinertson Elementary School.
I do pretty well. I actually push snow with it myself.
He loads his 2 kids up in his 4-wheel truck and drops them off at school.
An absolute disaster with the way these roads are in this neighborhood.
He worries about kids walking through this.
People generally speed up to get through deep snow, and main concern is all the children on the corners at the bus stops in the morning. Cars driving faster, bad roads. I'd hate for one of them to get hurt or hit or ran over.
Ness says that he drives his kids to school every morning, so I decided to take the station vehicle and show you what it looks like. Another neighbor said FedEx, UPS, and a pickup got stuck here. Public Works says every street has been plowed.
During our normal no parking maintenance days, Monday through Friday, that's when we push the snow farther back to the curb. Now the challenge is in some of these areas there's a lot of parked cars on the street. So a lot of my plow operators barely have enough room to get through to make one pass.
Morse says they're coming back to clean up South Moorhead Friday. The city of Moorhead says there's a lot going on when plowing. If you don't see a plow within 24 hours of a snow event, call them. In Moorhead, Callie Hubbard, Valley News Live.
People are also expressing concerns on social media about snow problems on sidewalks in other parts of Moorhead. The city wants you to know that is the homeowner's responsibility. If you need help with an issue in your community, call our whistleblower hotline 237-6576 and leave your tip. A member of our investigative team will get on the case and go to work to expose the truth. A 56-year-old man is now in jail after a traffic stop that led to the discovery of nearly 100 pounds of marijuana in Stearns County, Minnesota. Prosecutors say Guy Raymond Gibeau of Phelan, California, was pulled over for a traffic violation. Officers say they smelled an overwhelming odor of marijuana when they approached his vehicle. Gibeau was arrested on a felony warrant, but then officers searched his vehicle, finding 91 one-pound bags of marijuana. He's now charged with possessing 25 kilos or more of marijuana. If found guilty, he could be sentenced to 25 years in prison. The man accused of murdering 4 people in Mandan will have his trial date moved back to September of 2020. 45-year-old Chad Isaac was supposed to face 4 counts of murder in March. He pleaded not guilty in the April 1st shooting and stabbing deaths of RJR maintenance and management employees in Mandan. However, due to the large amount of discovery in the case, the trial will now take place on September 14th, 2020. President Trump met with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau on the sidelines of the NATO summit in London today. The president said NATO member countries that he thinks are not spending enough on defense will be dealt with either through curtailed trade with the U.S. or possibly a tax. He also congratulated Trudeau on re-election and urged lawmakers to ratify the new NAFTA treaty.
When a country is delinquent, they don't pay. And then something happens. Now, usually we look at it as a group, and I think I have to look at it as a group, Phil. So I would look at it as a group, but I think it's very unfair when a country doesn't pay. So most likely I'd do something with respect to trade.
President Trump also cautioned that Democrats should hurry up and allow for the ratification of the deal before Canada and Mexico lose interest. Senator Kamala Harris has announced she's ending her campaign for the Democratic presidential nomination. The California Democrat emailed supporters earlier this afternoon saying she doesn't have the money needed to wage an effective national campaign. Harris entered the campaign in January with a burst of momentum and support, announcing her bid before a cheering crowd of over 20,000 supporters. That enthusiasm gave hope for many that a woman of color could make history and be elected president. Today, the University of North Dakota named Andrew Armacost as its next president. The search committee says it was a unanimous decision. Armacost comes to Grand Forks with a decorated military background, more than 30 years of active duty in the Air Force, including 20 years at the U.S. Air Force Academy, where he served as Dean of Faculty. The director of the Sanford Fargo Marathon says it's been sold to a national company. Mark Knutson says Rugged Races offered their board of directors a deal they couldn't turn down. Knutson admits participation numbers for the marathon are down, but says this is not the only reason for the buy. He says the only change runners will see is in the swag. Don't forget to join us for the Farmers Union Insurance Bison Football pregame show on Saturday at 1:30. We'll take you right up to kickoff at 2:30 on ESPN 3.